Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write to me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding to this video or any videos that I posted in the past. If you have any videos that you would like me to make, please let me know. Anytime when you are in a hurry and you would like to have something very quick, this would be a great dish to prepare. Now, this is a chicken dish. It's based on my fast cooking system. The most important part of the fast cooking system is advanced prepping. Anytime when you bring chicken back from the supermarket, I always cut them up in advance, and I prep them to the size that I want to use for my stir frying. And then I freeze them into packages like this. Usually I freeze them 8-ounce portions, and this way will allow me to thaw them out in a bowl of lukewarm water, usually in less than 5 to 10 minutes. This will allow you to have chicken almost any time that you would like. Now for this dish, I'm going to prepare 1 pound of chicken because I'm going to have a friend over for dinner and he loves chicken. So I'm going to use more chicken than I normally would, which I usually use only about 8 ounces. The first thing is that I try to squeeze out as much of water from the chicken. And it is important to keep the chicken as dry as possible because if you want to sear it, drying it is essential. And one way to dry it is to add some cornstarch. Cornstarch will absorb whatever moisture that might still left on the surface of the chicken. And then I coat the chicken with some of my Walk with Tak basic seasoning mix. This is followed by a small amount of sugar. Now, I normally do not measure the amount that I put in. And this is probably the best part in the way how I approach cooking, is that I do it intuitively. I'd make observations of how I would like the dish to be. So I might vary that from dish to the other. In this dish, I only put in a very small amount. For the broccoli, I'm going to blanch the broccoli. There are many different ways that you can cook the broccoli. Of course, you can stir fry it. But I find that when I am in a hurry, blanching might be the easiest way for me to approach this. With blanching, I have much better control of the texture of the broccoli. And it usually takes only about 1 to 2 minutes to blanch the broccoli to the texture that I want. And I can adjust it accordingly. The most important thing when it comes to blanching is that once you achieve the texture that you want, you need to stop the cooking immediately. And the best way to do that is to transfer the broccoli to a bowl of cold water. And sometimes I even put little ice cubes in it to keep the water as cold as possible. This will stop the broccoli cooking immediately, and this will allow you to maintain the texture of the broccoli how you like it. Again, different people have different preference. You can experiment it to find out the texture that you want. I'm going to cook this dish in my stainless steel wok. And this stainless steel wok, which I have did a review on it, I purchased it from Costco about several months ago, and it cost only $27. I was amazed how great this wok is. I started with about 2 tablespoons of canola oil, and this is a method which I'm going to spot season the wok. And I call it spot seasoning because with a stainless steel wok, you can season it right on the spot and by heating the oil to its smoking point. And you let it smoke for about 15 seconds. And the wok is seasoned to create a non-stick cook surface. Very simple, and it always works. So this dish, I'm using more chicken than I normally do. And as you can see, the flat surface area of this wok is very useful. Because it will allow you to lay out the chicken in a single layer. This is how you sear the chicken. It is extremely important that you should coat the chicken with cornstarch, the basic seasoning, and the sugar. And I call this dry marinating. It will absorb as much moisture, but it also provides some of the seasonings on the surface of the chicken. So when you sear it, it will cause browning and it create great flavor. This is an important step in just stir-frying protein, is that you should let it sear for at least about 30 to 45 seconds before you turn it. This will give you a nice browning texture. This actually is essential to create the type of flavor that you want. As you can see, the sugar, the cornstarch, as well as the basic seasoning mix are causing some browning. Now, the browning doesn't have to be completely over the entire piece of chicken. All you have to do is brown part of it that will give it enough flavor, and you will notice the difference. The cornstarch also plays a very important role by coating the chicken with cornstarch. Not only it absorbs the moisture, but it also shields the chicken from the heat. It gives the chicken have a much moist and tender interior texture. At this point, I mainly use the tongue to turn the chicken. And as you can see in here, the chicken browns very nicely. Okay, once I reach a certain point, I do not want to overcook the chicken. Now I'm going to start to season the chicken almost right away. I'm going to use a combination of oyster sauce and hoisin sauce. Now these two sauces create a great combination that will allow you to create a teriyaki flavor. Now there are many ways to create teriyaki flavor, and they all have their distinct characteristics, and you might like one versus the other. But the oyster sauce and hoisin sauce combination is probably the simplest and the easiest way to create a teriyaki flavor with minimum amount of hassle. So in this case, you don't have to use different kind of ingredients. It will give you the flavor that you are looking for. And also, you can adjust the ratio between the oyster sauce and the hoisin sauce. Oyster sauce will make the dish more salty. Hoisin sauce will make it more sweet. So, depending on how you like it. But then, a teriyaki dish frequently associated with the sweetness of the dish as well as the dark color. So, to create the dark color, I add a small amount of dark soy sauce. The dark soy sauce not only will give the darker color, but it also would make the dish a little bit saltier, and it gives the dish a slight smoky flavor. With this combination, you have a lot of possibilities and to create the type of teriyaki flavor that you want. And you can do this on the fly. That is the wonderful thing about it. And you can make adjustment constantly. In this case, after I did a taste test, I decided I want to make this dish a little bit sweeter because my friend liked a sweet teriyaki flavor in his dish. So again, you can make adjustment anytime the way you want to achieve the desired goal. Now, as you notice that some of the sauces has burned to the bottom of the wok, which is quite common, and this happens all the time. So in this case, I'm going to add just a tiny amount of water right over the surface of the wok. And as you can see, because the water start to steam, turn to steam right away, it actually will clean the wok. And I call this spot cleaning. It's a good way to clean the wok as you cook. But at the same time, it will allow you to create a light sauce. And again, make sure you do not add too much water because will dilute the flavor of the dish. And a small amount of water did really a great job. So after the taste test, again, I add additional amount of sugar. I call this flavor chasing because with this approach, you can constantly adjust the flavor of the dish. And you also notice that now nothing sticks to the bottom surface of the wok. This actually is a good method to return the flavor back to the dish. In other cooking tradition, this method frequently is known as deglazing. But in this case, my main goal is to clean the wok. Now the dish is ready. I'm going to serve this dish with some rice. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to lay the broccoli onto the plate first. And this will provide me with a presentation that is interesting as well as aesthetically pleasing. You might as well to plate your dish as interesting as possible because we eat with our eyes as well as with our taste. So in this case, by laying the broccoli, it will provide the contrasting color. And this will also offer contrasting flavor to the dish. In here, the approach is that because cooking the broccoli and the chicken separately, the flavor of the broccoli will stand on its own as well as the chicken. So when you eat them, you will find there is a contrasting color between the two. And this is what quite often make a dish more interesting. So instead of mixing it all together, this will allow you to have the broccoli and the chicken to be separate, and both will retain their original flavor. And the teriyaki sauce, because it's not being diluted by the broccoli, will be more intense. And so as you can see in here, the rice, the chicken, and the broccoli can be mixed together when you eat them, and it gives you much more greater choices of how you want to combine the flavor together as you are mixing them in your own plate. Last but not least, I'm going to garnish the dish with some sesame seed. Sesame seed is great for adding both color as well as texture to a dish. And in here, I use a sesame seed that is combined with the black and white sesame seed. Now, this dish is very fast to cook, as you can see in here. It literally takes only a few minutes, but it can result in an excellent dish. And the consequence is that it will provide you a great culinary experience with very efficient time usage. Okay, I post a video each day to show you the fast cooking system, which stands for flavor chasing, advanced prepping, stir frying, and tempeh-based cooking. The goal is that to make home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. And so that you can cook anytime you want, even you have only about 10 or 15 minutes to spare. So keep on cooking, and I will see you tomorrow.